And once you're laying on your back and letting the knees open up like a book or a butterfly wing, just start to breathe. You can take your right hand and rest it over your belly, your left hand over your heart as you're lying flat. So we're here, we're settling in, we're starting to find our breath. Letting go of your day if it's evening where you are, or preparing for what's to come in your day. This is a great practice whether you're about to go to bed or you're just starting. It can be very refreshing. It can also help you get unwound, releasing, relaxing. As you're lying here on your back, your knees are open, letting gravity pull on you. Every breath in you take, think of the oxygen just filling up your bloodstream, going down through your belly, spreading the lungs apart, making space. And every exhale, think of yourself melting into the mat, relaxing, releasing. Continue with the breath in through the nose with the lips sealed to really get the oxygen in. Exhaling out through the mouth, open the mouth and letting go, giving space. Again, your right hand can be on the low belly, left hand on the heart. Just feeling the ebb and flow of breath. If you're just joining, I was saying it's nice to have a strap or a belt you can use for some extra length in your practice today. We're going to get into the hips, we'll get into the shoulders, we'll get a little bit of everything. Continue to breathe. Taking 2 more deep breaths in through the nose. Deep open mouth exhales, releasing, letting go, melting into the mat. One more nice deep breath. And open mouth, exhale. Good. All right. From here, take your hands to the outside of your knees, or if you have the strength in your inner thighs, just close the knees together. Then bring the knees into the chest, staying flat on your back. Leave your head on the mat. You can wrap your hands around the front of your shins, or if it's not accessible, you can go behind the thighs, clasp your hands together, and just rock left and right. Start to give the low back a massage. Bring your chin into your chest, just keeping the back of the head on the mat, just flattening the spine. Your spine is elongating from your tailbone all the way to the top of the skull. Starting out with a happy baby today, go ahead and bend the knees, feet toward the ceiling. You can grab for the bottom of your feet here. If it's not accessible, go for the ankles or the back of the thighs. Keep the knees at 90 degrees, continue to rock. Pull down on your thighs or your feet, wherever you are, and just start to feel your hips opening slowly. If you want to straighten one leg just gently, maybe it straightens all the way, maybe it's just a little bit, you're starting to open up as we make space for all the stretching we're going to do. We'll strengthen as well through some of the balancing work we'll move into. And anytime you're feeling overwhelmed, come back and anchor into your breath. Release your feet, ankles, or thighs. Bring your knees back into your chest. Take a breath in here. And on the exhale, keep your knees together and let both knees fall over to the left. Keep your right shoulder down. So you're doing a nice supine twist. Keep the right shoulder down. Maybe your gaze goes over to the right. Your left hand can be on the top of the thighs. Or you can tee your arms out to the side. Feel a supine twist through the low back. Keeping the right shoulder down is going to give you that nice opening through the back, that nice deep twist. Take a breath in here. Flex your feet. Stay for your exhale. On your next inhale, you can use your abdominals to come back through center or help yourself with your arms. Coming back in, keep that 90-degree bend in the knees. And on the exhale, go over to the opposite side, right side knees, both knees stacked, fall over to your right. Gaze off to the left. Feel that supine twist in the spine. Just getting started, nothing too deep at first. Flex your feet. That's going to help give you a little deeper of a stretch. Again, right hand can be on the knees or off to the side. Left arm's out long, gaze to the left, breathe. On your next inhale, bring your knees back through center and hug both knees into the chest. Pull your knees apart to each armpit, whether you're behind the thighs or on front of the shins. And then roll out each ankle. Get knee creaks, cracks, and pops out. Good. Then straighten both legs to the ceiling. Flex your feet towards your face. Head is on the mat, so we're not straining the neck. Good. Just do this for a few minutes. This gives yourself a chance to have blood flow from your feet down. Seems like we're always letting the flow of blood go down with gravity, so this is just opposition. This is what can turn into a shoulder stand if you want more. So you might just notice you feel that blood leaving the toes. This actually gives yourself, if you have any blood pressure problems, this actually really relaxes the heart. You're giving the heart a break. You're letting blood flow back toward it by gravity rather than being upright. If you want a little more, let your legs splay open and let gravity bring the feet out to the sides. Keep your tailbone on the mat, keep the back of the head on the mat. Feel the inner thigh stretch. You can take your hands and grab for the insides of your thighs and pull a little deeper if you'd like. Maybe you rock slightly left to right. You can roll out the ankles and you should feel that blood leaving the feet. And once we come down out of this, this is good for circulation. It's going to bring the blood flow back down to the feet quickly, flushing out anything old and stale, helping your circulatory system. If you have the flexibility and you can leave your head on the mat, you can reach for your big toes with your legs out. This is another deep stretch. I like to give a lot of options to kind of suit everybody. So some things may be very advanced, but there's always the option for beginner level. So never feel overwhelmed. Do what fits in your body. Good. If you're grabbing your toes or your thighs, go ahead and release. Try and use just your legs to bring your feet back together. Feel that. Bend the knees. Tuck your knees into your chest. Rock and roll along the spine. Do that 3 or 4 times, aligning the spine after we did some nice twisting moves. And once you've done that a few times, roll yourself all the way up and come all the way through to all fours. Moving into all fours, tuck your toes. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Think of your belly button pulling into the spine. Think of your tailbone tucking under. Have a nice flat back. We're not trying to sink right now. We're trying to keep our navel in, but we're also not arching all the way. So find that nice neutral spine. Your gaze should be down. So you're looking down at your mat. So you're not taking too much out of the neck. Shoulders are down and away. Think of pulling yourself slightly forward as your shoulders go back. So your head's pulling to the front wall, the shoulders pull to the back. Moving into cat-cow. This is where we're going to start to move through the spine. Inhale. Drop your belly down now. Feel the belly drop. Feel the tailbone point up. Head goes up. Gaze up. On the exhale, arch the spine. Press away from your palms. Your palms should be nice and wide. Dig your fingertips in. Tuck the tailbone under. Inhale, gaze up. Exhale, arch the spine. Tuck your chin to chest. Tailbone under. Really feel this to the spine. Inhale, gaze up. And exhale, release the air, arch the spine. 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale, arch. 1 more, inhale up. And exhale, arch. Come back to your neutral spine where we started. We're gonna do the same thing, just left to right. Think of pulling your left shoulder to your left hip. Gaze back at your left hip. Come back through center. Same thing on the right hip to right shoulder. Nothing's moving except through the midline. We're not lifting the palms up. Go the other side, left hip, left shoulder. We're just simply crunching one side to the other. We're getting a lateral flexion extension of the spine here. Good. We usually arch and drop the belly, so that's always good, but it's also good to get this lateral movement. This will warm us up for some lateral movement we'll be doing later. Good. Finding some balance. Go ahead and find a neutral spine in the center where we started. Pull your navel into your spine. Gaze is down. Begin to kick your left foot back. As you're here, think of your left foot flexing your toes towards the front of the room. Your heel kicks to the back wall. As you're sitting here, notice that your heel can go up as long as you're not dropping the belly. So as long as you're keeping your belly pulled in, lift and feel that through the glute. Now take the opposite hand. Your right hand reaches forward, gaze is down, palm faces in like you're shaking someone's hand. Bicep frames the ear, thumb is pointing to the ceiling. Try and reach both a 1 inch higher. Staying here for 4, gaze is down, pull your navel to spine for 3. Take another deep breath for 2. And inch higher, and on the 1, bring both down. Moving into the other side, tuck your left toes, kick your right foot back. Same thing, don't let yourself arch back and down. Kick your heel toward the ceiling, feel your glute ignite. Gaze is down, set yourself up first, and when you feel ready, lift the left arm. Gaze is down. Think of shaking someone's hand in front of you. Feel the glute ignite, palm faces in. Try and go 1 inch higher. You're here for 4. Don't forget to breathe for 3. Navel stays into the spine for 2. 1 inch higher, and on the 1, everything comes back to the mat. Bring your big toes to touch. Take your knees wide, child's pose. Tops of the feet meet the mat, hips sit back. Walk your hands forward. Your forehead can meet the mat here. If this is any kind of pain for you or too deep, you can put a blanket or a pillow or a blanket underneath your belly, give you some support. But for now, child's pose is a great place to massage your head left to right, make space in the body. You also start to open up the hips slightly. So the wider your knees are from each other, the deeper you're going to get a stretch. We already started to open up the hips gently, and we'll continue to do so throughout class. Take 1 more breath in child's pose. Good. On your exhale, stay. And on your next inhale, walk your hands back and come back to all fours. Bring your knees right underneath the hips, shoulders over the wrists. Tuck your toes here. Gonna get a little toe stretch going. This is a pose I always like to include because people don't get enough stretching in their toes. It's a pose that can feel very intense at first, and the more you do it, you'll work your way through. So keep the toes tucked. I'll give you layers. Maybe your layer is here and you just stay with your toes tucked, hips sit on the heels. This is a great space to start. If you'd like to go further, bring yourself up. This is as far as you're gonna go. This is very deep right here. Hips, everything's sitting on the heels. Toes are staying tucked under, knees are on the mat. If it's too much and you want to be up, try putting a pillow or a block underneath your glutes. Set it on the back of your calves and hips or heels, and then you can sit back. That's going to take a little pressure off. Let's start with our hands at our heart center, and we'll do a little shoulder stretch while we're in this. So staying there, you're going to feel, it almost feels a little painful. This is really good for you. If it's really hurting, make sure you're staying forward. But if you're up with me on your hips, let's take our arms out. We're gonna get some eagle arm pose. This is gonna be a great opener for the shoulders and the scapula, which are your shoulder blades. Take a big breath in. And on the exhale, take that right elbow underneath the left. Back of the palms can meet here, or do another wrap around and get the palms so they're palm to palm. Depends how open your shoulders are. If that's too tight for either of those, grab opposite shoulders. Wherever you are, bring your elbows up in alignment with your shoulders. Pull your navel into your spine. If you're in a full eagle pose, make sure you're bringing those shoulders and elbows in alignment. If you'd like a little back bend here, this is where you can just start to flow back. Only go as far as what feels good. We haven't done a lot with the back bending yet, so just start to very gently. We'll have another chance to get this. Take one more breath here. On your exhale, come forward if you're back. Unwrap the arms, open up. If you're down, or if you're up, come down to your palms. Untuck your toes gently. It's gonna feel this huge release, and just tap the tops of your feet to your mat. Feel that blood flow back down to the toes. Circulatory system is getting a nice flush for the lower body. Then take your hips, and we're gonna do an opposite stretch for the toes. You can just sit here. You can keep your hands down if you want. If you want more, bring your hands back and start to feel the tops of the feet stretch along with your ankle joints. Now, if you really want to go further and you've got the opening in your ankles, lift your heels up, or excuse me, your knees up and rest on the tops of your feet. Good, breathe here. Working on balance in this position. You can bring one hand to a knee, both hands while your knees are up, or you can bring them up in front of you. Find balance, concentrate. Anytime we do balance work, pull your navel to your spine. You want to get all those stabilizer muscles going. Pull the navel spine and also concentrate and look at something that's not moving. Good. If your hands are up, bring them down first behind you. Slowly bring the knees down. Take your time. Push yourself forward. Come back to all fours. Good. Roll out the ankles. Give them a minute. This is a nice opener. Scrunch the toes. And guess what? We get to do this layer again. This time should feel a little more open. It is very intense. Take your time. Maybe you go a little deeper this time. Maybe you stay the same. Maybe you lessen. Okay, so toes tuck under. Hips go back to heels. This could be where you start and stay. If you want to go further, sit back on your heels. That's going to really light it up. If you want less, and in between the two, take a block or pillow, excuse me, and put it underneath your glutes. This is kind of an in between the two. Do what feels good here. I'm just going to face towards you. We're going to do eagle arms on the other side. And you might take notice of how you're open more on this side, or maybe you're tight more. Bring your arms out to the side, big hug, bring your palms back. And on the exhale, this time left arm goes underneath the right. Palms can go back to back, or find that full wrap. Palms press against one another. If all that's too much, grab for opposite shoulders. Try and work your way back to your shoulder blades as close as you can. Bring your elbows in alignment with your shoulders in whatever layer you're in. Try and go 1 inch higher. The higher you can get your elbows up with your shoulders, the more stretching you're going to feel between the shoulder blades. This is another space where if you'd like to start to back bend again, maybe you go a little deeper this time as we're opening the spine more and more. And slowly come forward. Unwind the arms, open them up. Are you ready for that nice release? Here we go, bring your palms down. Untuck the toes. Oh yes, let that blood flow. Tops of the feet tap, just gently. Nothing too vigorous. Scrunch your toes a little bit. We'll get that opposite stretch here in a second. Roll out the ankles. Bring your knees to touch. Sit back on your heels. Now you can stay here. If it's too much, bring your hands forward. Or if you want more, bring your hands back. And then your final pose here is bringing your knees all the way up, or as far as you can. Maybe it's just a little millimeter off the floor. You're just trying to get a nice stretch in the feet. Balancing here, you can bring your hands to your knees, arms in front of you, wherever you like. You want to try closing your eyes. Pull your navel into spine, shoulders come down and back. Breathe. Keep everything nice and open in our bodies. We have all these little joints throughout the body. Bring your hands down behind you. Slowly bring the knees down if they're up. Push yourself to all fours. Good. Tap the tops of the feet. Wonderful. Roll out the ankles. And let's continue on. We're going to move into a nice frog pose. Getting back into those hips. So as we do frog pose, we're going to do single on each leg, and then we're going to do a double. Take your right knee and kind of come to the center of your mat. This is where you might want a blanket or a pillow if you have any knee problems or want some extra thickness. You can also just double your mat back as another option. So you can just have some extra padding on your knee. That'll just help because we're gonna put a little pressure. Now this is as far as you wanna go. So take this to your level. Right knee stays bent. Keep your right toes tucked for now. Left leg's gonna come long. Make sure your left leg stays lateral to your left hip. Your foot can be flat on the mat if you want. I don't know if you can see mine. My foot can be flat, or you can roll up onto the arch side of your foot. Now, making sure that foot stays in alignment with the hip, slowly start to slide out as far as you can. So it's almost like you're doing a split. Once you start sliding, that right foot's gonna automatically fall in like a frog foot. So the arch of the right foot's down. Maybe you go a little deeper. Let your hips sink down. If you want more, come to your forearms. Or you can put blocks here. But we're breathing in this space. Stay right where you are. I'm just going to show you from the front in case it's hard to see. So notice where my right hip is, and this leg's just sliding out, but we're staying in alignment. So it's almost like a single leg split. Again, if you want to come down and feel a deeper stretch, maybe that leg continues to slide out a little at a time. A big thing we tend to do, I always go over this, is when we're opening our hips or any big joint spaces, we have a lot of tension and we tend to crunch our face because it can be a little uncomfortable. What you don't want to do is exactly that. Let go of the tension. We don't want to move tension from our hips to our face. So let your face go. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. And I'll check in on that with you every once in a while throughout class. If you're down on your forearms, push yourself up. Now coming out of this, slowly wiggle your foot in towards your midline and pull your leg in. Good. All right, moving into the other side. So same thing here. Keep this time your left knee staying bent. Keep the toes tucked to start. Straighten the right leg out to the side. You can stay here and just feel a nice inner thigh stretch. You don't have to slide out. Sliding out is just going to give you a deeper midline stretch. Depends on your flexibility. And that's what we're working on. Stretching it out. So slowly go. As you go, you'll notice that left foot just falls in. The heel falls in, the arch of the foot meets the mat. You can come down to your forearms, let yourself go deeper. Just make sure that your hip is in alignment with that ankle and that knee. You'll hear me talk a lot about alignment, a lot about breath. These are all things to keep you safe and also keep you going deeper in your practice. We want that mind-body connection. So listen to what your body says. Maybe you need to lighten up a little bit. Maybe you can go a little deeper. Notice if you're clenching your jaw or your face, release, breathe. I want everybody to take a nice deep breath in through their nose. And on the exhale, go through the mouth, release. Let go of that tension, let it go. Good, if you're on your forearms, slowly begin to walk yourself back up. Take your time, wiggle your foot in. You always have to remember whatever you get into, you gotta come out of, right? Good, back to all fours. Perfect, now we're gonna do double. So both legs, this time your legs are gonna stay bent though. So it's gonna be coming out to the side for frog pose. Let your knees come out, let both heels fall in. And the arch of your feet are down. So you've got frog legs. The wider you can go, the better. Just keep your hips over in alignment with your knees. So I'll show you from the side some more. So notice my feet fall in. And again, you can come down. We don't want to be way up here. It's not going to do much. You want to be hips over, 90-degree bend of the knees, maybe a little less than 90 degrees. Your gaze can be down. Again, you can have a pillow here or anything to help protect underneath your belly. Flex your feet. That's going to protect your knees and protect your joints. Frog pose for a reason, so you should look back and have frog legs there. Maybe you wiggle a little bit, try and get a little deeper. You've opened both hips. Now we're getting them together. Check in. Where's your breath? Where's your tension? Let it go. Connect breath and tension. I want you to take 2 more breaths where you are. And I want your mind to let everything go. Why are you holding tension in your hips? We tend to hold emotions, thoughts in our hips. Mostly women hold more tension in their hips for emotions, while men hold it in their shoulders. Just what's been found, but don't worry, we're gonna get both. We'll get it all. Good, slowly start to come up. Take your time, bringing the knees in, tuck the toes. Good. Beautiful. Go ahead and sit your hips back. Bring your feet out in front of you, bend the knees. We're gonna go with a sitting up broken bridge. So take your feet and go all the way out to the edges of your mat and let the knees fall in. And then go left, one knee down, then right, the other knee down. Windshield wiper those legs in and out. Should feel good. You can hold it there for a second. Or just simply let your knees fall together. Just a little opposition from the pose we were in. Releasing those joints. Should feel good. Good, go ahead and rock yourself forward. Come back to all fours. Moving into a down dog, first down dog of the day, tuck the toes. Anytime you're moving into a down dog, shoulders over wrists. Knees are shoulder or hips width distance apart. Toes are tucked, palms are wide. If you just press up from here and back towards the heels, you're gonna have that perfect little down dog V shape. Let your head hang nice and light. Think of your biceps framing the ears. Pedal out each heel. Make sure your feet are staying about hips width distance apart, which is about 2 fists next to each other. Palms are shoulder width distance. And just pedal out the backs of the legs. This should feel good. Maybe one leg at a time. You bend and straighten. Good. Keeping your right palm down, take your left hand and just reach back for the right ankle. If that's not accessible, you're doing opposite hand to opposite ankle. Go for the knee or touch the hip. Just going opposite hand, left hand to right leg, anywhere on the leg. You can reach the heel, that's as far back as you can go. That's a good stretch, but you're working on balance as well in this. Pull your navel to spine. Breathe. Good, bring your left hand back down, moving to the other side. Left hand takes the weight now. Dig your fingertips into the mat. That's gonna take pressure off the wrist. Think of putting pressure between your index finger and your thumb if you've got wrist problems. Bring your right hand back to the left ankle now. You can do the knee or the hip. Keep your hips squared off. You're just working on making a little balance. And if you can grab for the back of your ankle or heel, you can get a little deeper stretch. Just keep your hips squared to the mat. Again, dig your fingertips in, keep pressure off the wrists. And bring your right hand back down. Slowly begin, we're gonna walk our feet towards our hands. So slowly walk. If you can keep your legs straight, you'll get a deep leg straight or a deep stretch to the back of the legs. You can go heel first, depends how flexible you are. Keep your feet hips width distance, slight bend in the knees once your feet and hands meet at the top of your mat. Once you're here, we're in Ragdoll Pose. Let your arms hang heavy, let the head hang heavy. Notice my knees have a nice bend in them. My torso is lying flat on my knees or on my thighs. As you're sitting here, let go of tension in the neck. Let your head pull toward the earth with gravity. If you want traction in your spine, you can clasp your hands together and put it right behind the base of the skull and let everything hang. Let your hands, the weight of your arms pull in the back of the neck. Maybe you turn your head a little bit left to right. You should feel that all the way through the mid-back. Release your hands down. If you want a shoulder opener here, clasp the hands behind the back. Head hangs heavy, no traction, or get traction in the spine, no tension in the neck. So gaze is just back between the thighs. And if you want more, let the hands fall over the back of the head. Feel that nice opening. Let your torso lay on your thighs. Think of your toes spread open nice and wide. Good, release your hands back down to the mat. Bring your big toes to touch. And slowly we're gonna roll right up to standing, but I want you to keep that bend in your knees until you're all the way up. Let your head hang, let your arms hang, let gravity pull on you and start to come up for my count of 4. Let your head be the last thing to come up for 3. Pull your navel to your spine for 2. Shoulders roll up and back, head comes up on the 1, mountain pose. Good, as you're in mountain pose, get yourself situated, your big toes are touching, there's a sliver of light between the heels. Tuck your chin in towards your chest, roll your shoulders down and back, palms face forward. As your palms face forward, think of your thumbs rolling back and your pinkies rolling to the front of the room. Notice your shoulder blades are pinching like you've got an ink pen between them and holding it there. Think of your tailbone tucking under, your navel pulls into your spine. As you're standing here, dig each toe into your mat. Feel weight even throughout the toes. Take a breath in here. And exhale. Good. We're going to continue on with some balancing work while we're standing. If you want, you can have a strap. If you want to try and take this a little deeper, or a belt, or whatever you might have. If you want to try and go to a new level, just put it on your neck in case. All right, we're going to start. Left leg is going to take on the weight to begin. And bend the right knee 90 degrees. 90-degree bend. Roll out the ankle a little bit. And then take your hands and clasp the front of the right knee. This might be the layer you stay at. This is a great layer. This is going to strengthen your left ankle, keeping your right foot nice and flexed. That's going to really help, and you're getting a nice hip flexor stretch as well. Now, if you want more, keep your left hand on your right knee and twist open to your right. Right arm goes back behind you. Maybe you stay here. Good, we've got another layer we can try out, but stay here for 4, 3, 2, stay in the center, keep your right knee up. If you want more, you can take either your hand can reach your foot, or you can use your belt and straighten the leg out in front of you. If you want to use your belt, you can. And then twist open to the right. This is advanced, so if you can do it, you can. If not, no big deal. Stick with where we were before. Kick your foot through your hand. Feel it twist, balance and opening. And begin to come back. Bend the right knee. Hold it there for a minute. Find that balance. If you want a deeper stretch, straighten the leg and hold it for 4, 3, 2, right leg comes down on the 1, wiggle it out. Good. All right, so that can get very advanced very quickly, but you can also stay and build. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side so you kind of know what's coming. If you want your belt or strap for this one, grab it, or you can set it to the side. Starting out, left knee bends, hands grasp in front of the knee. Roll out the ankle. It just did a lot of standing work for you. Right foot's down, shoulders are down and back. If you'd like to move forward from here, keep your right hand on the front of your left knee. Twist open to the left. Left arm goes back. Pull the right knee toward the midline, or excuse me, the left knee toward the midline. Right hand's grabbing for the outside. Feel that twist. Keep your spine nice and long. Think of your head pulling toward the ceiling. Twist open. Good. Come back to center. We've got another layer we can try. Take your right hand or your strap and wrap it around your left foot. You can straighten that foot first, then twist open to your left. You're going to feel that foot kicking into your right hand. Opposite hand to foot here. You're here for 4, 3, 2. Good. Bend on the 1. Keep that left knee bent. Staying right here. If you want more, kick your foot in front of you for 4. Hands out for 3, 2, 1, release. Good. Go ahead and wiggle it out. That's a nice little opener for your ankles and for your IT bands, the outsides of your hips. We're gonna do one more standing here. I always like to do tree pose. It's one that's very accessible to everyone. Lots of layers, lots of options. Left leg goes back to taking the weight. Then roll your knee open on the right side. Take the bottom of your right foot and either kickstand it to the inside of the left ankle and keep your toes down if you want. Next layer is to come up through so you're on the inside of the calf. Just make sure you're not on the knee joint because we're gonna press our foot into this. We don't wanna press into the knee joint. If you want more, come to the upper thigh, press your foot in. Keep this knee rolling open, left hip rolls back, press in with your right foot to the left thigh, and then lift your left kneecap up. That's gonna ignite that left quad. All of a sudden you're putting pressure and everything is holding on nice and tight. Pull your navel to spine. If you want an ankle opener, you can move that foot to the top of the left thigh, top of the foot into that hip crease of the left. Good. You can bring your hands to heart center here. If you're working on balance even more and you want to challenge, close your eyes. Closing your eyes is definitely a hard challenge. Another one is to come to the ball of your left foot and balance there. Bring your arms out. Whatever you'd like to do here. Try for stability. If you fall out of any balancing poses, no big deal. You're allowed to smile, move forward, just hop back in. Maybe you try a different layer. Take note of how you're feeling on this side, this left leg. Do you feel strong? Pull that left kneecap to the sky. You're here for 4, 3, 2, and release it down on the 1. Wiggle out that leg. One more side here, right leg's taking the weight this time. Find your layer. Hips are facing forward, roll open the left knee. So you can put that left foot to the inner right shin, ankle, go below or above the knee. We don't want to be on it. Or press your foot to the inner thigh. Remember, once you're here, press your foot in, lift the right kneecap and feel yourself pressing from both sides. That's going to help you get balance for 1, and it's going to build strength for 2. Navel to spine. If you want that ankle stretch, bring the left foot to the top of the right thigh into that little hip crease. So you can stay here, bring your arms out, same things. Maybe try balancing with your eyes closed on this side. Remember to keep igniting that right quad by lifting the right kneecap. Want to close your eyes, see what happens. And remember, if you fall, we stand back up. We don't stay down. Maybe your arms are all the way out. Remember to continue to breathe for 4, 3, 2, and release down on the 1. Let everything just release and wiggle out. Doing great, you guys. Hopefully you're feeling good at home. Moving back down to our mat, we're going to open those shoulders up. Let's bring our feet about hips width distance, a little wider. We're going to do 45 degrees with our feet. So you're about at the edge of your mats or so. Take a big breath in here for a nice star pose. So we're open like this, feet are kind of diagonalized out. Take a breath in, and maybe we find a little back bend. Oh, that should feel good. Starfish arms. Inhale back up through center. And exhale, let's come down. I'm gonna do a little more on the hips here before we move into the shoulders on our way down. Good. As you sit down, you're in a Malasana squat pose. So if this is too deep, this is where a block, pillows, anything will come in handy. So notice I'm in between here. If that's too much, you can put a block and sit on that here, or pillows, couch cushions, or you might be on the balls of your feet balancing here. This is a good strengthener. You can be wherever feels good. If you want to be on the balls of the feet, that's great. If your heels meet the mat, that's great. Palms pressed together if you can. If you're down deep, press your elbows to the inside of the thighs. Try and pull your head up to the ceiling so we're not crouched down into the shoulders. Open yourself up. Take some breaths here. This is a great ankle opener and hip opener. You should feel it. For 4. Take a breath for 3. Let go of any tension for 2. And on the 1, try and come back up. Maybe you need to put your hands down, but if you can use your legs, come all the way back up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Come to mountain pose. Bring your feet back together. Good. We're gonna do one more stretch upright and then we'll move down to the mat. Go ahead and inhale your arms up overhead. On the exhale, bring your right arm to your right thigh. Reach the left arm over to the right side of the room. Only go as deep as what feels good. We don't want to be rolling forward. Think of rolling your shoulder open back. Make sure you can look up past your left arm. If your left arm is blocking you, your arm is too far forward. Roll it back. Maybe you just go slightly right here. Maybe you go really deep. Use this hand for some stability. Feel this opening from the side left body. You're feeling it from the arch of your hip all the way to your fingertips. Reach your fingertips. Keep your left foot pressing into the mat. Feel that opening. Inhale, come back through center, hands overhead. Exhale, left side, left arm slides down the outer thigh. Right arm reaches. Remember, we're not rolling forward. Keep that spine nice and aligned. Getting that lateral flexion and extension. Gaze up past your right arm if you can. Think of the right foot grounding into the mat as you reach through the right fingertips. Feel that nice stretch through the midline, through the side body, Feel that really reach. That should feel really good. Inhale, back through center, arms up overhead. And exhale, let's find ourselves a little back bend. Bring your hands to your low back. Press your hips forward. Let your elbows come together. And gaze up if you can, or all the way back. Maybe you bend your knees slightly. And inhale, come back through center. And exhale, forward fold, ragdoll pose. Bring your feet back to hips width distance. So there's about 2 fists between your toes. Let your head hang heavy. Go ahead and bend the knees. If you want to open the back of the legs, you can straighten the knees if you can. Do what feels good. If you want traction in the spine, keep the knees bent. Good. Take one inhale. And on the exhale, go ahead and sit all the way down and back. We're going to move into our shoulders here. This is one of my favorite stretches. This is really nice on the shoulders, but I want you to be able to take your time on it and not go too far if you have any kind of shoulder injuries. Definitely just listen to your body. You don't want to pull anything, and listen to where I'm going to have my arms and how this is going to work. So you can have a blanket, a pillow, or a block in front here just so you can grab it. You're going to want something most likely to rest your head on. Depends on how deep you're going. You're going to come down to your belly. Once you're on your belly, tops of your feet are on the mat. Tee your arms out. You're going to start by resting your right cheek on the mat. So I'm just going to move a little to my left. Right cheek's on my mat. Tops of the feet are on the mat. Once you're here, you've got to tee with your arms. Big things to remember, alignment. Shoulders are in alignment, the elbow and the wrist out completely in line, one line. So think of the right arm staying straight. It's out in alignment. My left arm's coming underneath my shoulder. This is where you can put a pillow or a block under your head if you'd like, if it's too much on the neck. Now take this left hand and start to roll and push. You're gonna feel a little opening. Bend the left knee for support if you want. Remember, we're stretching the right shoulder right now, so the right arm should be long. Palm is down like you're high-fiving the floor. Palm down, press away. Now, if you want to go further, continue to press. Maybe you come onto your side. As long as that right arm is not moving, this arm can come up. Maybe you do the crocodile hands. You're trying to reach. Now, fullest expression is rolling all the way into the back as that right hand stays long. Gaze can go up. And of course, this is advanced. You only want to go here if your shoulder allows. Don't give yourself too much pressure. This right arm's still long. I'm still high-fiving the mat. Palm is down. Gaze can be up to the side, wherever you want. My hips are to the ceiling in a full expression. I want you to breathe. Again, check in with tension through the jaw. Is there any? Are you scrunching your face, your eyes? Release. Are you holding your breath? Breathe. I want you to take another big breath, everybody, in through your nose. When you go to exhale, maybe you can go just a millimeter deeper. Find your edge, but don't injure yourself. Just find that little bit more. Letting gravity pull if you're on your back. Wonderful, it should feel so good. Coming back out of this, take your time. If you're on your back, slowly roll onto your hip first. Come back to your belly. Good, we're gonna switch it out. Go ahead and start with your arms out to a T to start. Belly's on the mat. Left hand is flat. I'm just moving away so you guys can see me, okay? Once you're here, palms down. Bring your right hand underneath your right shoulder this time. Left arm stays long. I'm high-fiving. Make sure we're in alignment. This arm should not slide down or up. We want it right here. Bring your left cheek to the mat. Press. Maybe you go slightly. Maybe you can stack your hips. Maybe you just go a little. Or begin to press all the way. Find where you can go. Maybe this arm can come back and meet for that full crocodile pose. If you're all the way on your back, your hips are down, that left arm is still flat and long. High five. Check in on this side. Do you feel more open? Do you feel more tension? Can you go a little deeper on this side? Is it a little tighter? Are you clenching the jaw? Let go. Deep breath in. Open your mouth. Exhale, let go. When we stretch, this is the time the tension in our body shows up. It's also the time for us to let go of it. So allow yourself to release and let go. Take one more breath on this side. Stay all the way through your exhale. Good. We're going to slowly unwind. If you're on your back, roll back to your chest. Take your time. Good. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Good. As your hands are underneath your shoulders, your feet are on the tops of your mat. We're going to slide out into Sphinx pose. So bring your forearms down, elbows are underneath the shoulders. This is one way to start. If you want to go further, just make sure your tops of your feet are pressing into your mat. Think of pulling your chest through your arms. Palms are down. If you want to go deeper, bring yourself up to your palms here. Straighten the arms down. Now, if you're here, you don't want to be up pressing. We want your pelvis down. So let your pelvis pull. Shoulders will come down and back. Let the pelvis magnetize to your mat. This is a nice little back bend. As you're doing a back bend, press your feet. Good. Take 2 more breaths. We've gotten the spine, shoulders, toes, hips, all very open. And then slowly come back down. You're going to tuck your toes, press yourself up to all fours, and then go back to your child's pose for just a moment. Knees wide, big toes to touch, hips sit back, come forward. There should be a nice little release to your spine after your back bends. Massage the forehead into the mat. Child's pose is a great place to stay for a moment, or anytime you're in any practice. If you need a minute, hit that child's pose. It's the place that's going to let your body relax the most. And it's still a little bit active, so you don't completely relax like a shavasana. Take one more breath here. And exhale it out. Slowly begin to walk yourself up. Bring your legs out in front of you. Good. Once you're here, we're going to take our bottoms of our feet, Bring them together like we did in the beginning, butterfly pose. We're going to do a little stretch this time, more active. If you are having too much pressure with your knees being out wide like this, you can put a block underneath of your knees. That's going to help take pressure off. We are going to grab our feet with our hands on the outside of our feet. Now, the closer your heels are towards your groin, the harder and deeper this stretch will be. The further out you bring them, the deeper you'll probably be able to go. So choose what works for you. But I do want to make sure our form is on point. So wherever you want to be, depending on your flexibility, pull your feet up towards you. Now look at my spine. My spine is long. My shoulders are down and back. We're not doing this. We're up, we're tall, and we're going to start to fold forward. And maybe this is your extent of folding forward. That's perfect. That's going to give you wherever you're feeling a stretch on your inner thighs. Now start to pull yourself a little more if you can. And again, if your feet are further away, you're going to be able to probably go just a little deeper. And I want you to keep pulling forward. Every time you inhale, maybe let up slightly. Every exhale, pull a little deeper. A big no-no is doing this where people are trying to reach their head to their feet and all they're doing is straining their neck. They're arching through the spine. This does nothing except negative impact on the spine. So think of pulling your chest down first. Once your chest meets, press your elbows into the inner thighs. And then if you want more, bring your forehead all the way down. The only time your forehead should be in front of your chest is when it can meet the mat. If it doesn't meet the mat, your chest should be forward first to protect the spine. Okay, so those are all just little things. You don't have to be this far forward. Find what's feasible, but you should feel a nice opening in those hips right now. We worked through a lot of deep areas, a lot of joint space, so hopefully you'll feel nice and open after this class. Slowly begin to come back up. Bring your legs in front of you, bring your hands behind, and just wiggle out the legs. If you want to get one more broken bridge while we're sitting up, bend the knees and just let your legs fall in and out after that. Just a little opposition in that pose. Okay. Good. We're getting close to the end here. Keep your knees bent. Bring your chin into your chest. Bring your arms out to the side, and we're going to slowly roll ourselves down one vertebrae at a time. Your head will be the last thing. Keep your chin tucked. Once your head meets the mat, you're down. Good. We're going to move into one more happy baby. I want you to see how your hips are feeling now since the beginning of class. So bend your knees in and grab for either the bottoms of the feet. Again, you could do the ankles or the back of the thighs. Wherever you are, pull your knees towards the mat. Try and keep your tailbone rolling toward the mat. You don't want to be up here. Think of rolling your tailbone down. So if you can't reach your feet with your hips rolling down, grab for the back of your thighs. Pull, pull, pull. Maybe you can straighten a little more of each leg this time. Rock left and right. Release your feet. Let your legs go long on top. So they're pointing, your feet are up towards the ceiling. Your hands can rest by your sides or on your belly. And just letting that blood flow in opposition one more time. Staying here. If you want one more opener, let your legs fall out and V open. You can pull down on your inner thighs. If you have the flexibility and your neck and head can stay on the mat, grab for your big toes and pull. Take one more big breath through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. Good, bring your legs back together if they're open. Bend your knees. Wrap your hands around either the back of the thighs, the front of the shins. Pull your head up to your knees. Scrunch into a little ball. We're moving into our final Shavasana. Big breath. And on the exhale, Shavasana out. Let your legs go long. Arms by the sides. When you're in Shavasana, this is the most important pose. This seals your practice. This allows the body to relax and let it acknowledge all the openings you made, all the flexibility you gained. This is where the healing happens, the magic happens. Your hands are by your sides, the fingers slightly curl, your feet fall out open naturally. Notice if you're clenching your jaw. Notice if you're pressing your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Continue to breathe. Maybe scan your body and see how you're feeling. I will bring you back in just a couple minutes, so enjoy this space and just take on the healing and the opening that you've made. You're always welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like. Or you can begin to slowly awaken the mind and body, rolling out the wrists, rolling out the ankles, pointing the toes, flexing the feet back. Maybe massage your head left to right, awakening the nerve endings on the scalp. Bring your arms overhead and begin to stretch in opposition. Reach your feet one way, your hands the other. Big breath in. And big breath out. When you're ready, pull your knees in and rock and roll up to a seated position with your eyes closed. You can bring your hands to heart center. Be thankful to yourselves for showing up, making space in your mind and your body for practice today. Be proud of yourself that you take time for you, practicing self-care. It's a big deal to take this time, so be aware that you do it and find gratitude in yourself. Bring your thumbs up to third eye center, a space between the eyebrows. This is a space of intuition, a space of open-mindedness, open-minded with ourselves, open-minded to one another. Bowing forward, namaste. Thank you all so much for practicing. I hope you enjoyed class.